Welcome to another episode of Expansion of Consciousness, where we bring you a plethora of modalities and tips on how to expand your consciousness, how to improve your mental mindset, and how to reach your inner self. I'm your host, Jason Medlock, and I'm so excited to have you back with us for another episode. But we have a very special guest that'll be joining us today, Martin Theis. Martin Ty. Martin is a spiritual coach and teacher who focuses on mental and emotional well-being through the art of shamanic journeys. The coaching practice Light Trails Company mission is to assist others on their journey from suffering to inner peace and joy. Martin lives in Germany, Norway, and Hawaii, and is in the process of building a decentralized network of nonprofit organizations that aim to build low interest barrier refugees for people to find healing and regeneration. So, without any further ado, I'm going to bring on Martin so he can join us today. Martin, how are you doing, my friend?
So good. Aloha. Thank you. The trailer is just blowing me. I mean, I listened to it. I listened to it when I listened to your show, but I've never seen it. So, wow, what an intro. Yeah.
Hey man, we have to catch people's eyes. We have to make sure people are listening to us. And sometimes when we are talking about things that are inner power and how to change your life, how to find harmony and inner peace, you got to have something banging to get those eardrums and
Yeah.
get the curiosity going for the guests who choose to tune in. But I'm excited to have you here. I was able to read about you and read through your website, and you're doing a lot of wonderful things. With trying to find healing, trying to help people understand their inner thoughts, and you're doing it all through Light Trails. Tell us about Light Trails company.
Yeah, so it's basically in its concept, the motor or the engine for the nonprofit that I aim to build, right? So it is the first step of many in the line to building that sanctuary and to building the community and finding like-minded people. And Light Trails is basically the CO can mean company, but I found out so many different words. It could be coaching, it could be coffee, because I've been foraging or just diving into coffee growing and roasting and all this, because the sanctuary in Hawaii is could be creating revenue through coffee, right? And so the
Right.
co is collaboration, collective, whatever. There's so many co's there. So Light Trails Co is just my way of bringing all my talents and all the things that I wish to create. And like I said, it's just one way of connecting to the right people and then to bringing it further with the nonprofit, which is somewhere down the line, right? It is just
Right.
like a life project, I would say.
Now, Martin, you are a spiritual teacher by all right. You've studied a number of different modalities, but what makes the shamanic journey? What makes it a journey? Why'd you go in that direction?
I would say oftentimes, on the spiritual journey, sometimes I would say we come to this place where the spiritual teacher would say, just accept the current moment, accept what is, accept the emotion or whatever we are currently struggling with. And what I found, the shamanic journeys help me as a stepping stone or as a bridge to really accept through going into these certain situations that we experienced or into certain energies, and to really be able to grasp it a little more in order to let it go, if that makes sense. So
Yes, yes,
it was a very palpable way for me, a hands-on way and a practical tool, in addition to being based on the medicine wheel, which is a Native American concept of holistic, kind of like a holistic wheel where we can see all these aspects, spiritual, mental, physical, and emotional,
hmm,
all being one, and to balance them with this medicine wheel in the shamanic journey. So for me, it was always a very practical way that helped me in a very disturbed emotional state. I came from disturbed emotions. I didn't have any body issues or spiritual issues that I needed to kind of go through, or my mind. It was more to calming down my mind a little bit, but the emotions were always a little bit too hard for me to handle. So I found an approach through that. And that is why I feel the journey in itself is so beautiful, because we are on an outer journey, but we're also through these shamanic journeys, we can look inside, it becomes this picture that we slowly unravel, and which starts to make sense.
And you use these journeys to heal things that are going on in your life. If you were to give advice on someone who wanted to take some type of shamanic journey, or um, learn the shamanic ways, what would that be?
Yeah, and I think you're both right. It is learning, um, learning about my inner landscapes and my inner ways of being a human being or a spiritual being, having this human experience, but also through that interconnection, the shamanic aspect is that we learn to appreciate nature, learn to appreciate human beings, relationships, and it is that through that inner, I mean, it is a common path in spirituality, and it is just a different roadway, I would say. Some people have found other ways. I have found this shamanic, more natural, connecting to nature, connecting to life through these inner experiences and becoming more whole and healing, like you said. Yeah.
So, obviously, you deal with a lot of different energies, during the shamanic experience. Totem is one of the animal energies that you speak about. And yeah, I guess my question is, what is totem animal, and how does that interact with, what you do, or what you do in your coaching technique?
Yeah, so the totem animal in itself is a representation of our potential in animal form. It makes it a little bit more easy for us to see this is a representation of me in animal form, and I can have it by my side in a shamanic journey. So it's pure potential and its power, and kind of like a very, very benevolent sidekick on our
Okay.
side. But on the other hand, we can learn, it's a little bit about like astrology or any kind of numerology, any kind of system where we can learn, if we know how to read the system, we can learn about ourselves. I can look at my totem animal and can see how does it behave in nature. Is it a herd animal? Is it a prey, animal of prey? Is it an animal that lives in the water? What conditions does it need to be well? And who are enemies? What does it eat? All these things. And if I can understand the system, I can learn about myself and what conditions I need in order to thrive and to live closer to my full potential. And
So,
yeah,
mhm.
no, because you had the question about the program or my coaching. The totem animal is, I I go through a holistic system in 16 weeks, and the four weeks that started off, we learn all the tools that we need for the remaining 12 weeks.
Right. Yes.
And
Yes.
so the totem animal is one of the very, very important aspects. So in the learning phase of that program, my clients will get to know their totem animal, because for the remainder of the journey with me, they can use and will need their totem animal. Because the first question that we usually ask in all the following journeys is, we meet our totem animal and we ask, is there something you need from me? And is there something you have for me? And this is basic an inquiry into ourselves. What it is it that I need right now? And what is something that I can give in order to be whole or close to my potential today?
Yeah, and I'm sure that your students experience. You've shown them how to move their consciousness, or move their being to a certain level in meditation or quiet time, to even reach those depths, to be able to ask those questions.
Yeah, and I think that is also another part of the uniqueness of the shamanic journey, that while the client is laying down, I'm drumming the drum, and the drum is this
Mhm.
conveyor of the energy. I'm just holding that space, and the drum is helping them to connect to that deeper, I don't know what kind of brainwave state they reach at, but it is helping at least to connect with that deep sense of self and the collective subconscious in order to be able to ask these questions.
I would think they would be at the theta brainwave state.
Yeah.
That's typically what we use in any type of hypnotherapy. At QHHT, we get you to the somnambulistic state. I practice QHHT as well, and that gets you where you're not asleep, but you're awake. But the only thing that keeps you awake is my voice. So I'm sure
Mm.
that this is a very, very brilliant experience.
Hmm.
Your vision, um, you have a vision on creating sanctuaries in Hawaii. So where'd this vision come from? And why do you intend to do it in Hawaii?
Yeah, that's a beautiful question. The first one is I did a shamanic journey, and we had an assignment uh, that was a little off topic, but it was coming up with short, midterm, and long-term goals, and then with impossible goals.
Mm,
And so we did this journey, and within this journey, I saw this place, this refuge or sanctuary where people were hanging out and just doing stuff, building or growing food, healing, doing some kind of group work. And that was the first introduction for me to this vision. And it was really powerful. But at the time, I hadn't been in Hawaii for maybe 7 years. So it had been 7 years before I was there. And I was a little intrigued by this, and I thought, well, maybe it's in Jamaica or maybe it's somewhere here in Europe. But then I went to Hawaii and I checked out different places in the world, and the healing energies in Hawaii, to me, my personal experience, are so intense, but also very beautiful,
yes.
non-compromising, but very, very powerful. And so maybe this ties into the whole Lemurian and the leftovers of ancient societies. I don't know, but it is just that beautiful, beautiful place where healing is really lifted or elevated to another level. And every time I'm there, it's difficult, and I have these pains of stuff that comes up, but also there's also this beautiful, beautiful healing energy. And so that would be my answer. I've not been to another place except for Norway, which is beautiful, but completely different climate, where it is so healing to be just there without doing anything.
Well, one of my teachers actually is in Hawaii, David Wallace. He's a associate remote viewer. He's one of your top psychics there. Works with the government, the
Hmm.
military, the local military there.
Hmm.
David's spectacular, but he always talks about the energy in Hawaii
Yeah.
and all the places he goes to meditate. Um, so
Do you
yeah,
know which island he's on?
I don't. I'll find it out because I'm
Yeah.
gonna have you back on the show. We
Yeah.
gotta talk again. But I'll find it out. But yeah, he's a really good guy. You talk about circular economy. I want to ask you some questions about that. But so what is circular economy? And then we in just reading about your mission, you're looking at ways to support nonprofits with that as well as local communities.
Yeah, so my understanding, I didn't have any courses in the university, or I just worked with sustainable food and regenerative food movements.
Mhm.
And the idea, my perception of the idea of circular economy is that the way our business is done currently oftentimes is very linear, and there is a producer that produces a product, and then it's passed down the value, the not, it's not even called value chain. It's another chain. Sorry, forgot about that. But
Mhm.
um, the difference is that money is produced, and it goes only forward to the end, where there's a gain for some small amount of people. And in circular economy, you turn that profit, when it's done, when it's made, back to the origins, where you strengthen the culture or the environment, that the whole aspect, everywhere where the money is touched, in a way, there's value and benefit created. But also you make sure that it goes back to those production origins, because oftentimes when we look at agriculture, the places where food is grown are the ones that can barely live off of it, and the communities are struggling, and the people are struggling, environment is struggling, and you just want to make sure that it comes back and strengthens everyone who is involved in this creation process, thereby that circle, creating that loop or closing that loop.
Yeah, exactly. It's the way we do business, capitalism, just on the earth in general. And I was looking at a few different outlets that talk on Gaia, one of my favorite channels. And they
Mm-hmm.
talk about the economy of the earth and the way it's set up versus other worlds that are out there and the way that they trade. We're the only planet in this entire system that uses currency instead of just trade. So and I know that that's like far off, that's another conversation.
Mm-hmm.
But having a circular economy is that's a wonderful concept. And we should really really look at strengthening things like that. you know there are people out there, and I want to ask you this, Martin, um that have no purpose, and no meaning. And these could be people that are doing well in life.
Mm-hmm.
But what would you say to those type of people that have no purpose or meaning, and they don't know how to start and don't know where to look?
I know that's a tough place. I don't know how you see that. I feel every time I speak with people who are completely lost and don't
Mhm.
know what is my purpose, what am I doing here, that is a really tough spot, because we have to just get going. That is my perspective, to just start. If I have that intention of, I want to find out my purpose, I want to know why
Right.
I'm here, then that intent is so important. But it needs to take some kind of pain, some kind of suffering, until we realize what I'm doing is completely meaningless. I'm working in a 9 to 5 job that I hate, and I just create money, which is insubstantial, just over exaggerating. And so, to really be intent on this journey aspect again, I'm intent on finding my purpose, and I'm willing to try stuff out, go to retreats, or maybe journey the world, or
Read books.
read book, whatever it is that is calling. If I go through, like, that intuition is really, really, I don't know if feeble is the right word, but it's really a small voice that we have when we start out on this journey. But once we start to listen to that, we will find out what works, what doesn't work, and there will be
Yeah.
trial and error. But to be courageous enough to embark
Yeah.
on that journey of meaning and purpose, I didn't know what I wanted to do for the last 15, 20 years. It's been this going into dead end roads and going out again. And so I think it's just courage to embark on the journey of purpose and meaning. And most of all, learning what is not working was the most important thing for me. Like, all these things that I knew I didn't want to do at first were really valuable later on. So it is that finding out what works and what doesn't work, and to just keeping on and trusting in the process. That's just my point of view.
But Martin, what do you say to that person that um they can't really feel anything inside, and you know basically afraid to investigate their own emotional state? What do you say to those people?
Yeah. What do I say to those people? You're asking really, really easy questions today for me. So I think if they're listening to this, they're in the right place. Just start feeling. I know, I mean, I'm saying this from personal experience, because I didn't feel anything when I started out on this journey, but I often
Yeah.
sometimes I was maybe just crying for no reason, or I saw something beautiful and I just couldn't put my words into it. So we have that connection. It's still there, even though most of the time we think we've lost it. We're completely hardened on the outside and on the inside. But to the extent that we're able to feel something whenever it's there, to just
Yeah.
cultivate that, and to find a teacher or a friend who has gone this road before, or who is at least able to listen to me saying what's going on without judgment. That would be like so important, to be able to have someone who's able to go with me and to support me. If it is a friend, it will be difficult because they might not be experienced enough. But at some point, you mentioned people who have gained certain a certain kind of wealth, or maybe something other. I would say it's always possible to trade some of that and to ask for help. That's just my personal point of view. If I don't know what to do, to just find someone who's able to support me on this. And going back to the trial and error, just there might be people who might not be the right ones, but just continue.
Um, and all of this is a part of self-care, right? I mean,
Yeah.
making sure that you are taking care of yourself, which, I know you consider to be crucial for anybody. But what makes a difference? So let's just say for leaders, executives, um, what's the difference? What difference does it make to practice self-care?
Yeah. I think when we look at, I wrote a piece about the first rule of happiness, and it just came out when I read Tony Robbins' book Unshakable, where he talks about money.
Hmm.
But what he talks about is Warren Buffett's rule number one is to not lose any money. That's what Tony Robbins says in the book. And I felt like self-care and inner happiness is the same thing. We have this bucket of, let's say, happiness, but usually we either give it away to other people all the time without it being full, or something happens and I'm getting mad and I tip it and it empties again.
Hmm.
And my way of saying that self-care is so important is that I need to take care of this bucket, because I can only pass on this overflowing energy in this bucket, because the bucket is continuously filling. I can only pass it on if it's overflowing. If it's not, I'm depleting to the point where I don't have any left, and that's when everybody crashes. Not everybody, but many people. And so self-care is to learn a way how to be happy with myself as
Mm.
I am right now, without any external factors, holidays, anything that I want to buy, relationships, to just be content with, I love myself, and to be
Right.
able to say this truly, and not from a egocentric point of view, but just I love I love to be me, and I'm grateful that I am who I am.
Well, we know that you do workshop journeys. Let's just take a real peep at one of the workshop journeys that you're promoting real quick.
Aloha, everyone. There's a goat. There's a goat here. Um, I wanted to talk about the workshop that we're doing, and it is a 4-hour workshop, and it will be held digitally on Zoom. So only that you don't have to go anywhere. You can be from home or wherever you feel you can do this workshop. It is 4 hours, and what will be covered? It will be a workshop where you get to share your dreams and your visions and talk about where you are in the process of creating those. And then we will do two shamanic journeys, two small ones. And those are the tree of abundance. We will look at your tree of abundance and you will get to look at that and journey around that. And then we will look also at the tree of healing. And even though those are two tree journeys, it is a great first step in order to get in touch with a shamanic journey and also to see where am I at right now, what is going on in my life, what is bringing healing, and how is my abundance tree looking like, and how can I learn from that in order to co-create my dreams, right? And so one of the special features of the workshop is that everybody will get to share their journey and relate to the group what happened and how they experienced what, and we will all learn from that. And the great thing about the circle is we are learning from the community. So everybody learns from everyone, and we get in touch with people who are also on the path of creation, co-creation, manifesting. You get in touch with a community of people who are like-minded. I think that's a great thing. And it is free. Everybody can enroll in the workshop. And so you get to choose a Calendly link that I displayed here. This is it. I wish you a happy day. I hope you're doing well. If you don't, give me a call if I can help you with anything. Other than that, I look forward to seeing you in the workshop. Aloha. Bye.
And great information, everybody out there watching. Again, let's just reset. You're watching the expansion of consciousness. I'm Jason Medlock, and my guest is Martin Ty, and his business is Light Trails. www.lighttrails.co. www.lighttrails.co. Martin, talk to us about that workshop, and when is the next one coming up?
Yeah, so the next one coming up is in March. I haven't looked at the date. It's the first Friday in March. I don't know if this show is going to be released by then, or do you want me to go into the next one?
No. You'll be up by. I don't know when your next. I don't know when your next. Just tell the people when it's going to be.
Yeah,
we'll
so
be
I would say the beginning of March, first Friday in March, it will be in the evening in European Central Time, and usually in the morning and afternoon in the United States. So mornings for Pacific Time and afternoon in on the East Coast. And so the workshop is so beautiful because, like I mentioned, it is that group effect that is most important, where I always, when I'm a participant in these journeys, I mean, you're sitting there and you're listening to other people's journeys. And in the beginning, when you start off, you might ask, why should I listen to that person who's just talking about something else, which doesn't apply to me? And then 3 weeks later, I'm in a situation where I remember, oh my God, this is almost literally the same situation I'm in right now. And I have this gift of the journey that the person related to me in the circle. And so I have this benefit of already having heard how they went through their situation, and it's just a suggestion, and I can use that,
Yeah.
And
Any
as a
Rome? Oh,
yeah,
go
no,
ahead. Go ahead.
I just wanted to say those tree journeys are, in quotation marks, beginner journeys, because a tree is a beautiful part of nature, but it is not an animal, it is not a person. So sometimes people are afraid, what if it doesn't work for me? I mean, you probably know that question. If someone approaches, I don't know if I'm fit to do that, or if this works for me. So the tree journeys are usually really beautiful journeys where that fear of not being able to do it are very low, and that's why I chose those two tree journeys.
Any role models that inspire you, Martin? You are a very brilliant guy, and I know someone's behind that.
There's multiple people, actually, but my mentor, who I continuously learn from, the shamanic journey mentor, who's teaching and helping me in her supervision or my supervision. And her name is Astrid. She lives in Germany here. And other than that, I have really so many beautiful spiritual teachers I listen to on a regular basis: Eckhart Tolle, Alan Watts, Jesus Christ, uh, Dr. Wayne Dyer, Pema Chodron, and Ram Dass, to just
Ramdas.
name a few. Yeah.
Ramdas. Okay, a 25-year-old Martin, what would you say to yourself right now?
I would say follow your heart,
All right.
just let go of any notion to fulfill other people's expectations, because that was the time when I studied sports economy in the university. And at the time I was really struggling with the capitalistic models I was learning and all these kind of really money based systems, and I didn't really want to go through with it, but I did it in order to please others. And at the time, if I would have listened to my inner guidance, I would have probably just done something slightly different, or completely different. I don't know, because I didn't do it. But I would say follow your heart, let go of expectations of other people, and trust in the process, like I said before.
The infamous inner guidance. We
Yeah.
we tend to not follow it. And you know how I really learned to, I mean, really, really, really understood what my inner guidance was and really learned how to follow it was all through meditation and all through learning how to remote view. Because when you learn how to remote view, you have to separate the conscious mind and the unconscious mind and know which one is giving you information.
Hmm.
The only way you can do that is to have a sense of peace within yourself and understand how to get to a depth of transcendence in meditation. So that inner mind and listening to it, and especially when we're young, is a very hard thing to do, but it can be.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Beautiful. I mean, that I'm interested.
Are you? Did you cook, or are you into being a chef in the kitchen?
I am, and I used to cook as a vegan chef, and
Oh
I'm
gosh,
still cooking for myself. So the issue is, if you're on some kind of special diet, it is really hard to find restaurants. So the being lazy just
yeah.
drops away from necessity. Like where I'm at right now, it's really really hard to eat something except fries, which has not any animal products in it. So yes, I did cook as a vegan chef, but I also cook for myself.
I like to ask a lot of my guests this: if you could travel back in time only
Yeah,
once, where would you go?
I would go to a festival, actually. I created a nonprofit festival with a couple of, or with
Mm,
a lot of friends, actually, in 2017. And that was the most beautiful experience I ever had. The festival itself, the connection with the people, the music. Like, I was also DJing at that festival, so it was so many things I would love to relive one more time. So that was definitely that time, you know.
wow. So Martin, if you had anything, I'm sorry, do you have anything else you'd like to share with the audience? I like to tell people to, one more time, go to www.lighttrails.co, www.lighttrails.co, and go and look at some of the Martin's courses, workshops, and learn about the shamanic tradition, learn about the shamanic journeys. And a lot of these different modalities that we talk about on this show is for your well-being and is for you to use to improve your everyday life. So Martin, I'm gonna give you the floor if you want to address the audience one last time. Any positive tips, or is there anything you can leave them with that would possibly help them move in a better direction than maybe they're in right now?
Yeah, that is it. Thank you for that. I mean, it is. it is such a, for me at least, such a difficult thing to think myself back into how I felt when I started out on this journey, which I try to do every now and then. So please bear with me that I might not be able to really, really connect. But what I wanted to say is, if you if you feel like stuck in a hole, or if we look at that depressive state where we feel this is not going to end, I will always be in that, and that circle, this kind of destructive cycle of feeling like I'm in a hole and not being able to get out. I just wanted to say that to those people who feel like that, there is a way. And listening to shows like this one or others, where or just having a beautiful conversation with someone and then knowing tools how to get out of it. The most important thing is to just feel the emotion and dropping the label, letting go of the stories in the head, to just become aware of how many times we actually create a narrative that is so painful, kind of living through my burial, to just imagine how it feels like if I'm dead, seeing all the people who love me crying. That this is something that I did, and it's so painful. We are our worst enemies, and to just know there is a way out of this hole, and the feeling of the emotion that we don't want to feel, that is important. The one
Yes.
emotion that we want to push away, to get acquainted with that energy and drop the label and just feel it, is the ticket out.
It
There
is.
is a way out. Yeah.
It is. It is. Well, Martin, I want to thank you for coming on and sharing, all that you have today. And I'm going to go ahead and move you to the back. I'm going to address the audience, and I'll come back and talk to you in a second.
Thank you so much.
What a wonderful, wonderful, um, um, short, packed information session by Martin Theis. And he talked about mental and emotional well-being, shamanic journeys, using a lot of different modalities. And there are a number of modalities that we talk about on this show, but using these modalities to improve your life, to help you realize trauma, to help you realize pain, to help you realize where the depression is coming from, and then make that commitment, and take that step, to move yourself to the next level, and find that inner peace and find that harmony that you deserve, is absolutely worth it. Understanding your totem animal energy, and why self care is crucial. All these things. I want you guys to check Martin out at www.lighttrails.co. That's www.lighttrails.co. And I want to thank you for sharing your time, to listen to us here at Expansion of Consciousness. But we need you to subscribe, um, at Expansion of Consciousness. We're on YouTube. Just go on YouTube and type in at Expansion of Consciousness and subscribe to us. We really, really love your support, and for you to find some material that could be beneficial to you in your life. Again, thank you, and we'll see you the next time.